But we begin with Jeremiah Smith, guys. Let me make sure I get it right. So I'm going to pull the script out here on the script and read this to you. All right, Jeremiah Smith's comments to The Athletic on Michigan. Quote, "I'm not a sore loser, but I hate losing. And losing to that team up north was pretty crazy. In the end, I think it really helped us play the way we did in the playoffs, but I didn't want to go to Ohio State and lose to that team up north. I just hate them. Just something about them. For the next 2 years, I promise you, we will not lose to them. I can't lose to them in the next 2 years." My first reaction is, 2 years, Jeremiah? You got 3 years of eligibility. What, we leaving early? Okay, so throw that to the side. All right, so I'm going to get your guys' take on how Urban and Tressel would have thought about this in a minute. But first, personally, Beanie, your thoughts when you hear Jeremiah, air quotes, almost guarantee he's beat Michigan.
I love it.
Okay.
I love every bit of it. For so long, as an alum, and I think, Cardale, you may have heard this too, we had conversations with fellow of our former players that we all played with, and there was a thought that these guys don't understand the importance of the rivalry. There's not enough Ohio guys on this roster to where they get it. And they see a guy that's, one, not from the state of Ohio, but understand it from a different perspective. I love it. And come out and double down and say, you know what, the next 2 years, it ain't happening. We ain't losing. I love that thought process. I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, well, why put that bulletin board material out there? Who cares about this game in terms of bulletin board material being put out there? Who cares? It's out the window. Go out and let them know right now how much you hate them. And I love it coming from our star player.
All right, Cardale, your thoughts.
You know what? I don't have a problem with his comments at all. I know coaches used to always tell us, hey, don't give the media bulletin board material. But at this point, this is not a guy who hasn't played at an extremely high level. This is not some backup, or this is not some incoming freshman like Bryce Underwood saying, hey, what we're going to do to Ohio State. Well, you never played in that game, so you really don't comprehend the level of intensity it's going to take and it's going to be in that game. That's going to be different from the first 11 weeks of the season. But Jeremiah Smith, he understands it, right? He has unfortunately been on the losing end of that thing. You look at some of the great receivers in Ohio State history the last couple of years who haven't left Clemens with a pair of gold pants. I mean, some great quarterbacks as well. And he don't want to put himself in that position outside of ultimately still winning the national championship this past year. He's still talking about that one of two slip-ups that really stings. And you can tell from the way that the emotions came out through those comments. And if people know Jeremiah Smith, he's a quiet kid. So I was more shocked that he said something like this versus what he actually said.
Yeah, so two things you said that stand out to me. All right, the first one, what you just referenced about the kind of kid Jeremiah Smith is, because he doesn't puff his chest out too often like this. So for him to do it tells you just how much the loss bothered him. And then his status as a player, and I'm talking athleticism and skill-wise, you said he can talk this more than other guys. All right? I remember, it's been 7-8 years ago now, when Ohio State went to Oklahoma and their backup quarterback made a comment about, Ohio State's got this basic defense and it fired at the silver bullets up. When you're the backup quarterback and you talk trash, that's a bad thing. When you're the most talented player in college football, I tend to listen a little bit more. And Beanie, the one thing you said also kind of rang true with me. There's no such thing really as bulletin board in this game, because this is not like getting some underdog Purdue team hyped up. As if this team's not fired up enough after losing 4 in a row, as if Michigan doesn't hate Ohio State in the first place. So for me, I'm on board with what Beanie's saying here, that bulletin board almost doesn't matter in this game because you don't need any extra juice.
No, you don't at all. I mean, just the mere fact that, the rivalry stems back to all of these years, and, you're coming off of, a trio of, not a trio, quadruple 4. I mean, you always throw that in my face a little bit more, Dave.
He doesn't count. He doesn't count the sign stealing one.
But nonetheless, I mean, coming off that, I mean, who cares what's being said? You want to go out and you want to dominate. And I love that the best player, is going out and saying, you know what, this is what it's going to take. This is what we're going to do. And that's going to be it.
Yeah, and your best players always got to be your hardest workers. And, and I don't mind when your best players are making comments like this, because usually they're backing those type of comments up, and he has the ability to do so. He is the only thing that I wouldn't say a problem with, that I would poke with the comment, is that sometimes a receiver can be minimized in a game plan.
Yeah.
Right. So his impact could be a little less than really having a huge impact on the success of the game. Because I can just double team you. Maybe I can even put 3 guys on you. You look at what Texas did, even though they put a lot of attention on him and Ohio State was able to win in other ways, but still his presence was felt. Mm-hmm. He's that type of player, so I have no problem with those comments from him.
Okay, we have 2 players from 2 generations here. All right, Beanie played for Jim Tressel. Cardale played for Urban Meyer. So, Beanie, if you said something like this with Tressel as your head coach, what would the reaction have been?
You know what? One thing that people necessarily don't know about Coach Tress is a big-time guy in terms of you puffing your chest out and you feeling whatever it is that you say, you being and standing on that. That's Jim Tressel to a T. Now, he doesn't necessarily come out.
He puffed that sweater vest out. He puffed it out.
He very well would. I mean, I've had some conversations with Coach Tress, and he said some things that made me go, wow. I effing love it. So, you know, if I was a player on that team and I came out and said this, what would Tress say to me? He'd probably say, you better back it up. That would be it. But he would not be upset. I know a lot of people would look at him as the senator or the lieutenant governor, so to speak, at this point in time. And he's always politically correct. But when it comes to this game and when it comes to, you know, you feeling yourself and having that confidence in your ability in a matchup, I don't think he would be one of those coaches that go ahead and say, oh, shut your mouth. You can't say this, that, and the third. But especially in this game, I think he would say, kudos, just go out there and do what you do and ball.
You can make a case that no one hates Michigan more than Urban Meyer. I mean, it's a psychotic level of hatred, Cardale. So what would Urban think about something like this?
I think in this game, come from one of his best players, I think he'd be all for it. And I think he'd back him up to a T. And I think this is the promise 2.0. You look back at 2008 with Tim Tebow coming off a loss to Ole Miss when Coach Meyer was that coach. And he shared the story with us where he had a guy, starting quarterback, go up there in front of the media, and he didn't answer a question. He made a statement and walked off. And that guy went about his business. I mean, a guy that was already going about his business at a very extremely high level, and to see it go to another level and do the things they ended up, you know, I think they beat Cincinnati, my guy Tony Pike back in the Sugar Bowl, I think, the end of the season, because, you know, that was the BCS era. So one loss pretty much cost you the season, right? So I think it would have been a very similar approach with if Coach Meyer was coaching his team and had Jeremiah Smith made these comments.
Okay, so the whole concept of bulletin board material is fascinating to me as someone who didn't play. We love to talk about it as if the team is going to take it to another level. But guys, I mean, 4 to 6, A to B, as Urban used to say, if we're talking going 100% on every play, Beanie, how much does it actually matter once the first ball is kicked off?
You know, I think it does matter. Okay. I think in certain situations, there can be times where things are said that get under your skin as a player individually and a team. So I think it matters. It can be that motivating factor that make you want to go out and just smash somebody's face in, like Marshawn Lynch said, over and over and over again, based off of the things that they were saying. I mean, just think of it. I mean, you had the bully in high school, right? I mean, not to say you were bullied, but you knew the bully in high school, right?
Let's not go over my resume and how many
let's not bring up some let's not reopen some wounds different day.
Look, man,
I'm sorry for opening wounds.
I spent a few study halls inside of a locker, if that's what you're implying, but now I got two big friends here that they can protect me. That's why
Never
I got
happen again.
No, all right, Cardale, moving on before I go back into therapy. Your thoughts on how much bulletin board matters?
I mean, it matters because I remember putting myself in those shoes where we got ready and played Alabama, and they made some comments with players through social media, basically saying this was just a scrimmage for them because of the quarterback, you know, for the national championship game and one in particular player. And I remember vaguely where I think it was 3rd and long. I end up scrambling and I'm in an open field and my head is on a swivel and I'm looking for that player. I kid you not. And I find that player, I make a straight beeline for that player, and I blow him back about 7 yards. So now I kid you guys not. If you want to look at this, I think it happened in the 3rd quarter. I could have easily maybe came and kept my angle of running diagonally, maybe got a few more yards. Not saying I was going to score, but I found that player and I made a straight beeline for him.
You chose violence.
I chose violence.